Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
The name's the dog, Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in pints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as for the first time, is a friend of mine, former student turned friend, the real price of graduation. It's Bobby Hamilton. How are you today?
I am doing well, Tim, and thanks for that intro, and thanks that I am not a burden for the high school work.
You're so welcome. All right, so Bobby is joining us as a guest this week because Frank is officially on paternity leave. His wife gave birth to their beautiful daughter, who I'm not sure if he wants her name revealed on this podcast, and so for the time being, we are going to call her Broomhilda, if we ever need to refer to her. And so Bobby is here with me, not drinking a beer. Like, I am also not drinking a beer on Beer with Geeks, mostly because it is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we are not lushes. So, Bobby, do you actually have any kind of liquid in front of you to drink right now?
I have like a water.
A water. Excellent. Excellent. I also have a...
Pleased with us.
Yeah, no. Water's good. I also have a kind of water. I'm drinking a Polar Seltzer, lemon-flavored. It's delicious. It's the taste of summer, Bobby. Seltzer. All right, so we are actually here to talk Thor: Love and Thunder, the fourth installment in the Thor movie franchise inside the MCU. What number MCU movie is this? Do you know?
I think this is... I'm pretty sure we're like 29 or into the 30s. I have to recheck, but like...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Remember how this all started with Robert Downey Jr. just coming out of an arrest?
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like, I was actually thinking about that, where it's like, it goes back to Iron Man and like some of the current MCU outings that are not like catching people's attention the same way. They're almost like people are watching them because it's Marvel and they're used to watching them. But it's like a lot of these newer projects are missing, newer characters are like missing the spark that Downey had in Iron Man, like this kind of like irresistible charisma that you like have to watch everything he does. And so but that's a conversation for another time. Let's talk Love and Thunder. We'll talk non-spoilers first, really briefly, and then we'll just go all spoilers. But Bobby, what did you think of Thor: Love and Thunder?
Well, I would say that my favorite parts were the love and the thunder.
You know, if you know the movie, I also agree. Those are definitely the best. Those are actually the best parts of the movie. I agree.
That was a joke answer, but like I really liked it. I went in with I texted you a picture. I like Thor's probably like him and Doctor Strange when it comes to characters, like are probably my two favorite Marvel characters just because of their like mythos and stuff behind them. I really liked it. It's like, it's not getting the same praise online. It's like, you either like really love it or you really hate it, but I really liked it. But I went into it knowing that it's like a Taika film first and then a Thor film kind of in the background.
Yeah, it definitely has a Taika, it definitely has the Taika flair to it, though I think it is a more refined Taika flair than Ragnarok. I enjoyed this one more than Ragnarok, which I really enjoyed. Mm-hmm. But I found Ragnarok to have some pacing issues. Like, it like just grinds to an absolute halt at some places, and you can tell that a lot of the actors are riffing, that they're kind of like working their way through ideas in the script rather than concrete lines. And I didn't feel that way in this movie. I felt it like I thought it was more of a solid 2-hour fun classic Thor adventure. And that's kind of that's kind of where I left it at. How does it? Do you prefer the Thor of Thor 1 and 2 in some of the Avengers, or do you prefer Thor post or like Ragnarok onward?
Yeah, that's because I've liked Taika's movies more.
Mm-hmm.
But like I do prefer the more kind of phase 1, phase 2 Thor, because like that's how he is in like comic stuff, really.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's not. He's kind of really transitioned fully out of comic Thor at this point. But to me, he's more like mythological Thor, who is kind of a big doofus. And so, like, to me, like, I'm enjoying the post-Ragnarok Thor, not because he's not like the Marvel character, but because, like, I feel that's actually weirdly more authentic to the mythological figure of Thor. So I like it more. Though I do like the high Shakespearean quality of Thor from the first two as well. Maybe not high. I mean, it's just got more of a lofty feel, but it's definitely plays with more Shakespearean themes. This is more like a Shakespeare comedy than a Shakespeare tragedy.
Yeah. I think that like for each of the movies, the tone like works. Like I remember not liking Ragnarok at the time because I thought like, oh, this should be like the grand epic Viking saga thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you rewatch it, it's now like in my top 10 favorite MCU films. So
that's right. I forgot that you didn't like it at first because I also felt that way. There's like here's like the end of Asgard as we know it, and it's kind of a joke.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that in hindsight, you look back and see that it's really not the end of Asgard in totality, and you know they do live on. So it doesn't like the I think the scope of that tragedy of Ragnarok could be so large that it wouldn't really have a place in the tone of the MCU in general. And so I think to make some of it kind of a joke maybe actually sits better within the overall tone of Marvel anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough to talk about this movie without spoiling anything, especially for those of you who don't watch trailers before they watch a movie or for some reason listen to a review of a movie before you see it. So let's move into full spoiler territory here.
All right.
In 3, 2, 1. Korg dies almost. Let's talk about that first.
Yeah. That was honestly like my one real big negative about because you know, I really like the movie, like I said, but it has 2 fake out deaths with like Korg and Valkyrie gets stabbed in the Shadow Realm.
Yep. Yeah, and it's like not I mean, she actually is dead, but even Jane dying at the end. But actually, so I will say that I felt the same way until Jane died. Okay, because we'll just skip right to the end, I guess. But because I felt that Thor was going to actually be like Gore was going to give up his wish, and Thor was going to wish for Jane to be better, and like that would have like cured the cancer from Jane, which I was fully ready for and fully prepared to hate because that would have been gross. Just wish the cancer away, everybody who lives in the real world. Like I just wouldn't have liked that at all. So I was expecting her to live. So the fact that she died, like actually died, like we see her in the post-credit scene in Valhalla with Heimdall, which was a great cameo. Like I just like that made it for me. So I think the 2 fake out deaths served her real death because I was expecting a third fake out by then. And so, I mean, people get stabbed and don't die. So I guess like Valkyrie getting stabbed is not necessarily like, oh my God, she's dead, you know, but yeah, that's where I landed. That's where I landed on that.
I think the only thing for me is like why I would have preferred Korg to die is just because like it used to be like in Ragnarok, you know, he was like the comic relief character, but now it's like everyone has become a comic relief character. Like I laughed way more at Thor in this movie than like anything Korg said or did.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's true. Korg wasn't. He was almost like the straight-ish. He's not straight man, but like they were all on the. It's almost like it was like watching Seinfeld, where they're all kind of funny. Like none of them are the straight man. But yeah, that's okay. I think Valkyrie was probably the straight man if you really had to like, play it out like that. But let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Thor's with
the Guardians.
The Guardians, like it was great. I just love that they were like actually all there. Like you heard all of them. I am Groot. So you like
I'm pretty
Bradley
sure
Cooper with new lines. Everybody.
This is the first time, if you don't count the post-credit scene in Guardians 2, which I'm not sure if I've persuaded you on liking, that we've seen Kraglin with Yondu's fin there.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, that is the first time. Well, I think it's really the first time that we've actually seen him at all, which I actually did really love were you here the whole time?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, you can't get married on every planet we stop at. Like, that classic Guardians hijinks. It actually did make me realize that I do really enjoy the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I like the first one a lot. I think the second one has its merits, but it's a lot of retread for me, and I don't necessarily care for it in that way. But they were they served a good purpose even for the 5 minutes that they were in this movie, and so I just liked seeing them all. Like, because I sometimes forget like they're all contracted. Like, it's okay, you're going to be in this movie. We're going to use a movie for this. Like, but it was cool that they were actually there and actually together on set. It wasn't like we'll film you separately and you separately and you separately. Like, it was Thor and Star-Lord sharing screen time with Nebula, with Drax, whatever.
Yeah, I really like, because I'm a big, you know this, I really prefer, like, instead of just retiring the Guardians until like Volume 3 comes out, like I really like how they just inserted into the action. Like it starts out with like the big space battle. Well, it doesn't start out with the big space battle, but like that's when we first see Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Really. Like we're just diving right into the adventure.
I agree. Another classic Thor adventure, right? Right from the start. And what I actually really like, by the end, he's actually picked up basically where he left off, doing the same thing, where he's still adventuring in space. He's just kind of changed his companion.
Yeah.
And so I like that Thor is not just like, I'm going to go back to Earth and like do adventuring things probably or whatever. Like he is having his own time.
His design in the beginning part when they're fighting off the temple, it reminded me a lot of Thunderstrike.
Thunderstrike, remind me.
He's a pure like 90s character. He was like the Thor who like wasn't Thor.
Gotcha. Yeah, there was a bit of that, like Thor like actually like using, instead of just swinging a hammer, he was like being action hero-y. I did enjoy that. I loved like the stopping the two hover cars with the like the split in the middle. That was great. Like just, I also enjoy like they're like the Guardians are going to lose, and then Thor just comes in and wins, and he's like, "Good teamwork, everyone. We did that together." A lot of Thor speeches in this movie. A lot of Thor speeches.
Like how he came in Wicked Witch of the West style.
That was hilarious. That was so good. That was so good. Because you almost don't expect the payoff because it gives you a couple of beats where like you don't see him, and so for him to finally like come around the corner, oh man, that was good stuff. Like I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it.
I'm kind of like in the mindset of like that opening like Guardians before we tackle like the heavy stuff, the goats.
I'm glad they found a weirdly organic way to get the goats in, but as soon as I heard the screams, I was like, that's great. Because if you forget the goat screaming is the thing, like, and they just keep doing it over and over and over again. Like, you get used to the goat screaming after a while, but that was really fun. And I liked the way that they had them fly, quote unquote. Like, I think that was pretty clever.
I just really love like the scene when like all the Guardians are reacting to the goats and stuff. Like it just feels pure out of a comic book. Like I could pick it up at a store.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, there was a lot. I think in this, there was a lot in here that felt kind of pure comic book. Like, and I saw a comparison where a review in which they said it said like Love and Thunder like treads dangerously close to Batman and Robin, and I was like, I guess I can understand where it's like it's brightly colored and there's puns and stuff, but like
queer undertones.
Say, yeah, maybe there's some queer undertones, yeah, but like I'm overtones really in this movie. It's not really undertones, but but like I didn't feel that because it all felt organic, like everybody, and so as much as some of like say the CG didn't feel organic, where it was so obviously a green screen, and stuff like, which is kind of like I feel like now is almost like a Taika trademark where I'm like, uh-oh, here comes the green screen. Here it is. I can see it. But it's okay. I think going even further back, I think the movie starts strong.
Yeah.
From Gore's perspective, you're kind of on his side most of the time. Like, well, even
I really like how the god that Rapu, he's played by Deacon in What We Do in the Shadows. So I was like,
oh, that's who he is. Oh, it was really bothering me. I was looking at this guy being like, I know who you are, but I could not figure it out. Okay.
Yeah, no, but my favorite thing about the opening is like they feel like they're from two completely different movies.
Thor and Gore, you mean?
Thor and the god there, Rapu.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, that just shows like how the gods are higher up than like, Gore.
Oh, you mean like you mean like Gore himself and like the character design of the? Yeah, it's true. Actually, he felt otherworldly, where Gore, like especially in that first iteration, felt like a real person. And so let me get Gore's daughter is Chris Hemsworth's real daughter.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay, I thought so.
And then the wolf woman at like the opening montage.
Yeah,
is his wife.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I was trying to figure out who they were, but it went past me at some point.
Before we get deep into Gore, I just want to recognize that the movie recognized the Warriors 3, and Sif is in this with her comic accurate costume.
Very comic accurate costume. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Does Sif lose an arm in the comics, or is that a pure movie thing?
I think it's just the movie thing because, in comics around Siege, she becomes Lady Loki and stuff. But I think that since Thor is pretty much more the joyful personality, they might give Sif the Destroyer arm.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, that would be so cool. Yeah, it was great to see. It was great to see Sif for as little as we saw her. Well, what I thought was strange is that it goes through Thor's three loves, right? The wolf woman, the pirate woman who was that Katy Perry or it was somebody famous, but I couldn't figure out who it was quickly, and the blue hair made me think it was Katy Perry, but I could be wrong there. And then it goes to Jane, but I was suspicious that Sif wasn't on that list. I guess because they're kind of these kind of under romantic unsaid things in Dark World more than the first one. But I guess I guess friends be friends. That's fine.
Friends do be friends.
Yeah, because Sif's his wife in mythology, So, but anyway, it was great. Yeah, it was great to see her in her comic accurate costume. That was very, very cool. So anyway, going back to Gore and his motivations. I remember you were concerned about Gore's powers, translating from the page onto the screen, because you had said that Hela had some of Gore's powers. This create anything out of
thin air. Yeah,
out of thin air. So, how did you like this take on Gore?
I know that I love Christian Bale, and that I love gore. I was just kind of on the fence because I know that like I like the design of the character. It's just like the comic version is like very alien and stuff. I know that they weren't going to do that for Christian Bale because like you're going to want to see his face. Yeah. But I really liked it.
I did too. I actually found him quite creepy at certain moments. So I thought he offered a genuinely good balance to the comedy.
I think that like I know a lot of people feel kind of underwhelmed by gore. I think if he was like the gore that they wanted, the movie wouldn't work really.
Yeah, I think the gore of the comics is deadly serious and like you actually do fear for characters' lives, and not that you don't in this one because like he does kill, like maim two and kill a third, sort of, and other gods. But I found him threatening in his performance because like there's a clear differentiation between the gore we meet in the opening scene and the gore that has the sword, that's cursed by it, that's taken over by it. And like I was watching this and I was like, you're channeling a bit of Joker here. Like there's a bit of...
a lot of I'm not sure if you said it was, I think 2011, but the Rise of the Guardians movie, when it's like all the holiday mascots teaming.
Oh yeah.
You reminded me a lot of Pitch Black, Jude Law villain.
Yeah, there was a bit of that in there. Yes.
Like with all the shadow stuff and like, yeah.
I liked the shadow stuff. I liked the creatures, and I liked the use of the sword. I liked the way his eyes popped and the way that they played with lighting whenever he was around. I thought he was one of the stronger MCU villains in a little while. It probably wouldn't be as he probably wouldn't be as good if it wasn't such a good actor. Yeah. That was kind of what I like. It's Christian Bale that makes him interesting. Apart from I thought him being visually interesting. Maybe not. He doesn't look like exactly like the gore of the comics, but that's okay. So many characters do not actually resemble their comic selves completely in these movies, so I'm kind of past that.
One trend that I kind of notice is because like the Necro Sword, how like obviously in the comics it's tied to Null and stuff, but like they can't do that because Sony. I've noticed a trend that like in the past two big MCU movies, we've had like the main villain is corrupted by the evil thing.
What was the last one?
Wanda and the Darkhold.
Oh yeah, she was corrupted. Yeah, that's true. That's probably not on purpose either. I wonder if that's just the way that it just came out. Like, I don't know. The MCU doesn't always do sympathetic villains. Like a lot of times they can be pretty despicable.
Yeah.
But I think they found success in people understanding Thanos' point of view, even if like it's the wrong way to go about it. And so I think they're trying something a little newer here. Because understanding somebody's actions, I don't necessarily root for him because he's like stealing kids and you're doing you are becoming the worst version of something that you hate. But I enjoy that story where people get lost so much in themselves that they kind of like forget to see the forest for the trees. But it's again not necessarily his fault because he's cursed, but he welcomes the curse, right? He says it feels like a promise. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed all of Gore. Particularly when he was talking to the kids, I just thought it was so funny that they like made a movie where Christian Bale and Chris Hemsworth just like hang out with a bunch of kids through a good chunk of the movie.
Heimdall's kid, one of them.
Yeah, who was a good actor. I was like really impressed with that kid. But I liked kind of thinking like where these actors are in their lives, and like Chris Hemsworth is a father and he like wants to spend time with his kids, so his daughter's in the movie. Yeah. And then it's Thor's journey is kind of reflecting Chris Hemsworth's own journey in some way, and I just kind of enjoyed that aspect to the movie. I think it's what probably made me enjoy it a little bit more, like understanding like why they're taking Thor in this direction and what they're finding interesting, what they can find interesting about the character that hasn't been played around with in a lot of superhero movies before.
I really liked Gore's parallel to Jane in the movie.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was kind of funny that they said it out loud, like, "You're just like me. That weapon chose you, and it's killing you." And you're like, yes, very, very good. Yes, for the people in the back. Awesome. Yeah, so let's talk about Jane, actually, so we can talk about that parallel. So we meet Jane. She has stage 4 cancer, and she's pretty much in denial about it. And so she goes through these 5 stages. She goes through the 5 stages of grief in the movie, right? You know, she starts with denial, and then bargaining. Bargaining is basically her time with Mjolnir, where she's like, let's try to fix, try to fix this cancer, and like, she does get sad about it and like all the stuff, but she accepts her fate by the end. And I thought like it worked really well. Mm-hmm. Like her, going from I'm absolutely not going, like I don't believe that I have cancer, or that like it'll, like how many stages are there? Like, do we even know? I thought that was really strong.
I really liked how it's funny how like the quote unquote cameos of this movie are like characters from just past stuff, and it's not like a big multiverse thing. Like I really liked how Darcy and Selvig showed up.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, because those aren't, I wouldn't really consider them cameos. They're pre-established characters in a universe, because even Matt Damon and Liam Hemsworth are back, and Sam Neill are back. Like, they're technically not cameos because they were in the last movie. They're just small bit recurring characters.
I also like how Asgard chooses to remember Hela as like Melissa McCarthy.
That was fabulous. That was great. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I'm glad that it did. Mm-hmm. Actually, what I enjoyed about that second play more than the first, well, one, it's a little bit longer, which I think is great. Like, they just actually hammed it up even more. But I love that Liam and Matt Damon, whoever, like whatever their characters' names are, go to Valkyrie, and they're like, so we're thinking that we should make a play about this attack that just happened, where all the children have been taken. And like, I'm not hearing a no. Like, that is fun. Like, I love that they're just weirdly coexisting in this little universe. Yeah. In my mind, since Balder is never apparently going to appear ever, Matt Damon is Balder, and he's just like this weird, like, actor version of Balder.
That'd be great. Mm-hmm. I just really liked Jane as a whole. Natalie Portman coming back was a treat.
Yeah, I thought she did a great job. I loved her quest for a catchphrase.
Yeah.
Like, that was fun. And I like that we don't get the catchphrase at the end. That was, like she whispers it, obviously, to Thor, but not that I don't think she needs redeeming from the first Thor movies at all, because I think she's good in them, but I'm glad that she has, like, they, like, really beefed up how important Jane is to the MCU.
Really beefed up for this movie.
She also really beefed up for this movie. Yeah, she could definitely kill all of us, no question. Yeah, it was great. I thought I was, apart from her, like, the actually dying, whatever else, I was a little taken aback that she died, because I thought that we would get further adventures of the mighty Thor. But
I think that, like,
go ahead.
Might still, because remember how Jane also becomes a Valkyrie?
Yes, that was my thought too. As soon as she died, like, as she, like, flew away into, god dust, which I thought was actually well teleplayed in the it was well teleplayed in the play, the Matt Damon play, because Sam Neill is like, I am Odin, and now I'm going to turn into god dust. And that's exactly what Jane does. So, like, in that moment, she's going to Valhalla. It's like, it tells you right there. So, yes, I thought as soon as she showed up and we saw her again, I was like, oh, good. Okay, so maybe Jane will be back.
The one thing I didn't like was, this isn't even about Jane. It's more like design. So it's like when Thor's helmet is like a real helmet, but hers is like Iron Man nanotechy. And I just didn't really like that because it didn't.
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I assumed her helmet was CG, which is why they were doing that, because it was like something like that would like be really hard to wear and it would wobble on your head and whatever else.
Helmets are CG.
Even the one that Chris Hemsworth like takes off in a Fury, he's like, it's claustrophobic in here.
I remember reading something about both helmets being, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay. I liked that he was wearing a suit and then he was like, no, I have to change. I have to be more ostentatious. Like that was I actually really like the one he wore at the end, which is a nice blend of the two of them. That's probably my favorite Thor suit out of all the ones that we've seen. Mm-hmm. It's been good.
Yeah.
Is there anything that really stood out to you in the movie where you're like, that was a very good bit? I was excited for that.
I know that a lot of people think that it's corny, but I really like the Stormbreaker versus Mjolnir rivalry bit.
I did too. Yeah.
It also plays into the rule of three. Like they do the joke like I'm pretty sure they do it like 3 times.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Stormbreaker floats in three different times, I think. Yeah, no, that was good. I enjoyed that too. I also like that he by the end, so obviously this is spoilers, so like Gore has a change of heart once the sword is no longer in his possession, so he wishes for his daughter to come back to life instead, his one wish from eternity, and like he does that so she could live and he would die knowing that Thor would take care of her. So Thor becomes an adoptive dad, which is just something that Disney loves to do right now.
I like how I said just something like funny, and then you just said something like
yeah. It's just
that's strike the balance.
Yeah, right. You got to strike that balance. So I really love that. We have not seen Thor as a dad in the comics or in the movies, so like to
apart from that one animated movie where like they all got kids and that
one doesn't count. That don't count. Yeah. I would like to see the further adventures of Love and Thunder. Like that is, to me, that's pretty fun, and I want to see where that goes. Shoot, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Best bits.
Best bits, yeah, the end, the stuff like pancakes, and he gives Stormbreaker to her. She's like, it's like taller than her, and he is like, here you go, I got Mjolnir back, so you can have Stormbreaker. Like,
I just like how Mjolnir got played with a bit.
Yeah,
Chris Hemsworth is like riding to battle with like a sort of like princess hammer.
So good, so funny, so very funny. It's good stuff. Go ahead.
I was going to say, one of my favorite bits was like the little montage showing that, it wasn't just like they didn't ask Natalie Portman back for Thor 3. They had this relationship in universe.
Yes. Yeah. Because we don't see it between the second Thor because he like goes back to her. And then the next time we see her, when did they break up? When do we learn about that?
In Ragnarok, when they're like going to get out and.
Okay, so it's somewhere between the second and third Thor movie that they split. So they were together for quite some time. Like it's unclear. But I actually I agree. I liked seeing their relationship and why they split and where that where that all led. That was well done. And we've beaten around it because we haven't because it ties into the mid-credit scene. So let's talk about Zeus.
Yeah.
And so what was the city called?
It was
Overcity or whatever. Oh, where all the gods be. Yeah, where all the gods hang out. I thought that was very cool. Like they saw some like real earthen deities, right? And then some, obviously, a lot of alien ones.
Cameos.
Yeah. Did you recognize any? Do you have them on your list?
Yeah, apparently Bast, Black Panther's god, was in it.
Oh, really? Oh, I missed Bast.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think they really like showed Bast in the movie. I think
I
it's
see.
a credit.
Okay.
Simon Russell Beale plays Dionysus.
Oh, that's who that was? Oh, that's awesome.
And then you got like Bao from the Pixar short.
Yep.
One thing that I was kind of like taken aback by was there were no like Moon Knight gods, especially because that came out like so recently. And
he's actually in the Marvel Studios logo opening credits. I don't know if you saw him, but he's like in the M. That's a good point. Is it because not all of them are locked away? So no, I don't know. Maybe they're I don't know. I wasn't really searching for them, so maybe there was one and I missed it. I mean, the place was big, so you could assume that they were there,
just hanging out and like
but they didn't have to be there, right? They were just like those are the gods that chose to be there in that moment too. So maybe they were busy, in a battle or something,
doing Moon Knight stuff.
Doing Moon Knight stuff, yeah. So Zeus as Zeus, played by Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
I was tickled pink that he had a Greek accent.
Someone's like mythology Zeus.
Oh, it was exactly what I wanted. He was so good. He was such an idiot, but had this mean streak and a showman, and he had like the women surrounding. Like it was just like exactly who Zeus is.
I loved how before, like you said, the mean streak, Thor was just like geeking out over Zeus. But then it's also like a good parallel moment where it's, oh, I need to like stop doing that so I don't turn into this guy type deal.
Totally, because like the Thor that like Thor could go down that path, and so weirdly now becoming a father figure is what is going to save him. I think Thor in some ways, which is going to tie to the mid-credit scene. So where we learn that Zeus is alive because Thor, he thought that he killed him, and then to get the thunderbolt, and then he's like talking like, oh, gods are a joke, and we have to make us not a joke anymore, and we won't be a joke when we kill Thor, and everyone will understand. Isn't that right, my son? Friggin' Roy Kent, Hercules, like I haven't been this excited about a cameo, and I couldn't tell you how long. Like Charlize Theron, I was like, that's cool. That's a good one. What's his name as Harry Styles? Like it was fine. But this Roy Kent, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm tickled pink. Hercules finally in the MCU. We get more Russell Crowe as Zeus, hopefully, and on top of that, now we've got the father-children dynamic that we're going to, hopefully get between the Hercules and Love, whatever her name is, Chris Hemsworth's daughter, and Zeus and Thor. I'm excited.
I am really excited. Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw that Taika Waititi said that he would come back and do another one if Chris Hemsworth was game, and I'm pretty sure that they're game based off of this movie. Say again?
They work really well together.
They do. I think they get each other's like quirkiness, but I think they like Taika really reined or maybe Feige reined in some of the the issues I had with Ragnarok. And so I would absolutely love to see another Taika Hemsworth Thor combo.
Speaking of Ragnarok issues, this is like a small little nitpick. It's like nothing like massive, but I remember like in Ragnarok, he's talking about like Korg. He didn't print enough pamphlets, and he lives with like his mom and like a comedy bit. And in this movie, they say that there's like two males. Like he had two dads, So
that's right. I forgot about that. I wonder if the all right, if I'm gonna have to headcanon it, I'm gonna say that like only the males reproduce, but they still have a female partner.
Sure.
Or something like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't freaking know. They're rock creatures. Who cares?
I also I'm not sure if like we wrapped it, but I really liked Deep Cut of Eternity. That made me do like the Leo pointing meme in the theater.
Totally. He looked just like Steve Ditko's Eternity, though. No, or not, Jack Kirby's.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. I loved it. I loved it. So I didn't expect it. I think the trailers actually hit it from me. Like, I don't know about you. I didn't see any.
I didn't see any like stuff about. Like, I kind of predicted that Hercules was going to show up because, like, we knew Zeus was in the movie, but, like, that was the biggest surprise for me, that Eternity was in the movie.
You know what's funny? I didn't even think about Hercules showing up. Isn't that weird? Like, even they said Hercules. They even said his name in the movie, in the middle of it, and it just didn't occur to me that Hercules might appear in it, and that he'd be Roy Kent, whatever that actor's name, Jeff Golden.
Jeff Goldblum?
No.
Just Miss Hercules, well, yes, Father, I'm gonna life finds a way for me to fight Thor.
Oh no! Jeff Goldblum was already in a Marvel movie.
Apparently, he was gonna be in this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know where he would have fit in, but speaking of I'm just gonna get some because we didn't really talk about New Asgard because it's more like a set piece than a character.
Mm-hmm.
But I just really like how Disney-fied they made it.
Explain. Oh, you mean like infinity cones and things like that? Yeah, that was funny. Although the infinity cones, I was like, I don't know if that feels like something people would actually avoid. I don't know. Wait, why am I looking up? Why did it go to IMDb? What were we talking about?
Was it the pirate at the beginning bit? You thought it was someone famous?
Nope. No, what were we talking about? Oh my goodness.
Oh, Ted Lasso there. The actor name.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. The pirate lady was a woman named Zaya Kelly.
Mm.
She's a stunt performer.
Not Katy Perry.
Not Katy Perry. Not even remotely.
Daryl from those YouTube shorts was in this.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
I like that those are weirdly real.
Yeah.
Brett Goldstein, that's his name.
Yeah.
Brett friggin' Goldstein. What a guy.
I really love how there's just so much going on. It's not just, oh yeah, here's the Infinity Stones and we're just beyond it to Thanos and that's it. For Phase 4 alone, we have the Thunderbolts, which I'm pretty sure got confirmed recently.
Yep.
The Elder Gods and the Dark Dimension stuff from Doctor Strange. Just general multiverse stuff from all these different things. Kane, and now we have the God War stuff.
You think that's what it's coming to? You think that it's gonna be you think it's gonna be War of the Realms, or you think it's going to be more...
Well, I was actually thinking taking every single thing that we know about Phase 4, kind of Doctor Strange is the main character, and we have the Eternals and stuff.
Yep.
I was thinking that knowing, especially that Hercules is going to be a big player, that it might build up to the Chaos King.
I don't know what that is. Explain.
He was just an old comic book character who was one of the ones who scales above, one of those.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I understand.
Especially that we got Eternity and stuff now.
Yeah, this is the biggest villain we've ever faced until the next biggest villain we've ever faced. Yeah, I understand. I mean, I didn't think about it, that threat from Zeus and Hercules sitting outside of a Thor movie, but that is very possible, actually, that that's what they're going to build to something really like the god stuff. But that makes a lot of sense between Eternals and the Celestials and
the gods,
all the gods. But yeah, I'd be down for that. I would absolutely be down for that.
Another thing about Eternal stuff, it was assuming Hercules joins the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
There's it very 90s Avengers. We got Monica Rambeau, the White Vision, Wonder Man show just got announced.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk, Star Fox, and like Black Knight and Cersei from Eternals. Like,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and Falcon's even that too. But now he's like Captain America. But yeah,
Yeah, but still though, wow, that really is a '90s lineup. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I liked this one a little better than Ragnarok. Like I said, I think the pacing is a little better. I think I'm the minority on that. But because Ragnarok has a lot of good stuff in it, but this one, I liked its themes and what it played with, and I thought it kind of cohesively was a little stronger in the story it was telling.
Yeah.
So I'm on board. And I would love to see more. Would anything else that you'd
More
like to
Thor.
say? More Thor. Yeah. More Thor. Anything else you want to add?
I was just like, for me, this is above like Guardians 2 for like my ranking.
That's not hard for me. So
Yeah.
it's also above Guardians 2 for me.
I really like Guardians 2. I'm like, yeah. I really enjoyed this movie. Like I said, I went into it more as like a Taika movie, but there were like some really good just Thor bits in the movie, like we've said.
Yeah, I thought everybody had some good bits, and that is like what I appreciated. Like from Gore, Thor, Jane, Val, everybody had a Korg. Everybody had a little something. I didn't think anybody was really left behind.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good
Yeah.
stuff. Good. All right, well, you can find us on Beer with Geeks at beerwithgeeks.com and Gmail and Facebook. You can rate and review us on iTunes and find us on any other places podcasts can be found. And you can support us on patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio. Bobby, if you want people to know where to find you, do you care if people know where to find you? Where would they find you?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Awesome.
Doing any big shows right now. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Maybe.
Don't threaten me with a good time. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Well then, until next time, cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.